Hey folks, Carl here and welcome to episode 3 of Revell's Colonial Viper Mark II. Okay folks, so part 3, and as you can probably see, we shall zoom in a little bit. We have filled in this seam line up here. We've already worked on the inside part here and smoothed it out and all around this edge. We haven't bothered with the bottom because this is going to be buried, and we have done this section up here that is actually all smooth. You can see where I painted it in. That is as smooth as we are going to get it. I have also gone around the cockpit and painted up all the edge work ready for when we seal her up with the canopy, and as you can see we've added these engines and we've connected the bottom section. So we are now going to continue putting it together. So we have all the parts over here. That's the last part we're going to put on. We have one of the wings to put on, we have the two engine covers and the tail wing of these parts. We have this part as well. This is going to be painted separately. These two parts are going to be painted separately, and we have the wing and the gun that is going to be separate from the ship itself, and we have the canopy here. So I'm not going to put the canopy on just yet because first thing we've got to do is file down this seam here. Now we've got a huge variety of sanding sticks, and we'll work at it with the rough sticks first to get the majority of it off, and then we'll go finer and finer and finer until we get right down to the buffing stick. And this one's starting to look a little bit worse for wear, quite rough with my sanders, so I shall probably get a new one out for this when we get to that. So I am going to get this seam line done and we'll be back in a moment. Okay folks, that is that taken out of there. You may very well still see the line, but it is perfectly smooth. If you get to there, you can't see the line, so that is that seam line gone. So next up is the construction of all the bits. Now there's a few things, well there's one main thing that I've done. In order to build this with a little bit more ease, there are two nubs on the back of here that I have gone and cut off. This means that I can first and foremost glue this bottom section on and still be able to get the wings in without any issue, because if you leave that nub on, in order to get the wings on you have to peel this down and out of the way. So if you cut that nub off there, you can get the wings in and out and have that back section on, and it doesn't really do anything as it stands. It also allows us, if we want to put this part on first, I think. So let's have a look. Is it going to let us to do this? So we put that part on and then can we get the wing in? I don't think we can, no, because we've got that great big huge tail section sticking out the back of this. So the wing has to go in there, but we can glue that in place if we want to, because the wing itself, you just push it down and it sits right flush to that, so we could glue that into position right there if we wanted to, but I need to do some more test fitting to make sure we're happy with where everything goes. And that goes like so. And thankfully once once this is all glued in place, this will actually hold these parts centralised. I think the only one we have to be careful of is the centre one that goes in there, which is this piece. So yeah, so that will hold those in place. There's a few gaps and stuff here while we're test fitting. Hopefully we'll be able to overcome that by just allowing the glue to do what it does and actually melt the plastic and seal it up a little bit better. So the other side is exactly the same, and then we have the centre section that needs to go in there as well. So we can take that off, we don't need to do that. And we can, obviously we don't need to put this wing in because it's going to be separate, so we need to get that piece on. That's where you need 4 pairs of arms, so we need to get that bit on there like so, and of course we need to put this inside there, and then we need to position everything where it needs to be while we start to apply glue, and that is going to be rather awkward. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of this off. We've just done a test fit, it does all fit quite nicely together. I am going to fix this wing in place and allow it to dry. It's one thing less we have to hold on to. So I'll glue in the back there. Let that sit for a moment. Let that dry. And then we'll put a very small dab inside there. And another piece underneath. We'll just hold that in place for a minute, like so. So I'm gonna let this dry. We'll be back in a minute. Okay folks, so this is in and as good as drying this, so it's all in place but not glued yet. So looking at this, I am going to glue around these parts first and position those where we need them, and then we will move this get my teeth in. We'll move this center section around and manipulate that to get it all lined up. Looks like we'll have another seam line to deal with right there. So let's put this down on here. Get our glue. Push this together how we want it, like so, and then we'll add a few touches. 1 and 2. Let it draw itself into the connection. There for a moment. Get another small bit in the back here. Just like so. Now I think there is supposed to be a seam here on the ship as well. We shall take a look at some. Take a look at the box art in a moment. And I'll do the same this side. that is that done. Put that down now. We can push this centre part together. Get this glued in place as best we can. So it's quite straight. Okay, we don't get it all over our fingers. Start leaving fingerprints. Okay folks, that is it all glued and in place. There's a few bits and pieces that need to be sanded down and cleaned up, but that is the assembly done. All we need to do is get some PVA and fix this canopy in place, and we can then start moving into some paint. So what's probably going to happen is I'm going to leave this, I will get this primed and then leave it be while we start the diorama. So I shall get the diorama bits and pieces out now so we can take a look at what we have. So back in a moment. Okay folks, so we were going to be using our standard size picture frames, the A4. I'm going to put it this way because if I turn it over the other side, the glare's a little bit too much. But as you've just seen, we've just finished putting the thing together, and you saw the picture in episode 1, so we needed a bit more space than what's on here because this thing practically takes up that whole picture frame. Now if we were just going to stand it up on its landing gear, it would have been fine, an ideal size. We could have even put some walls up and made a bit of a hanger or something like that, but that is not what we're doing. We are laying in the mud on its on a 45-degree angle, all messed up. So this is not going to be big enough, so we went the shop and we got the next size up, which is A3, which is this size. Again, I'm going to turn it over to stop glare, and we're going to need to zoom you out a little bit to there. However, this again is not that much, giving us that much more space, because we're going to need to put this somewhere here, and the plan was the other wing would be somewhere here, buried, and of course we can drop this gun pretty much wherever we want, like so, which doesn't give us a lot of room because we wanted to add some water into this. So we might bring this back and angle it a little bit more this way, bring this here, and put a bit of a water or a lake, whatever it is that's in the picture that we showed you, because the plan is we will be adding some rushes and reeds and that kind of stuff, and then we will have the pilot. Now instead of putting the pilot in the cockpit as though he's just crashed, the aim is to get him, we shall have to cut his legs off, poor fella, but he will be sitting in the water in the bulrushes peeking back at his ship. Now I spent the last 2 or 3 days trying to find some 1/32 Cylon Raiders from the original TV series, but they are proving difficult to find, if a thing like that even exists. So that would be that is the plan for the dia. We'd have some water effects here, bulrushes and all the rest of it like you would on the shore of a lake or a river. This would be crashed, So there'll be some rocks, some long grass, some short grass, muddy patches, etc, etc. Hopefully, if we can find them, a couple of Cylon Centurions standing looking at the ship with this guy hiding in the bulrushes. If I can't find any Cylon Centurions, I will probably do exactly the same thing. It's just that the Centurions won't be there looking at the ship. We can have him as though he thinks they're coming to look. So that's the plan for the Dio. Now of course we're using the materials we usually use. So the main groundwork will be using the polyfiller. We'll then be using some of the mud and texture effects from, we've got some from Tamiya and some from AK, so we will use a variety of ones. We of course have some Vallejo still water, which we will use for the water effects, and I have still to order some reeds and rushes. Now I found them, they're in my basket on Amazon. I just need to press the buy button, and that will be everything we need to finish the Dio. So on to paint. So we will be using now, because if you remember I was talking, I may very well use some unusual colours, but with this being something specific from the TV series, we are going to paint it in the standard white and red. So I am going to get this base painted. Obviously we'll need to attach the cockpit. So we'll use a little bit of PVA, a couple of dabs of PVA, we'll put it in, and that should hold it in place while we are doing our spray work, etc, etc. And then of course there's these to spray as well, and of course the mani to dismember and paint. So I shall be back shortly. Okay folks, so that is episode 3 complete. Now I'd filmed some more stuff, but as I was editing, we are already at 17, approaching 18 minutes. So I'm going to call this video here done. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Be good and be safe. And as always, keep making models, and we will catch you next time. Ta-ta.